Good evening, Amherst County. My name is Rob Arnold, Superintendent of Schools in Amherst County Public Schools. It is March the 22nd, Sunday evening, and coming to you to provide you once again some information regarding where we've been in the last week and where we're going in the coming weeks. And so I want to share with you a few things this evening. One of the things I want to start off by saying is, we understand that this is very stressful and uncertain times, and our role as a school system during this time is to provide you with tools and resources that allow you as a parent to provide your student with a sense of normalcy, a sense of consistency. And we understand that this sense of normalcy and consistency leads to a sense of safety and security for your child. And ultimately that's what we're trying to provide here is for your child to feel safe and secure. And so that's the reason we're doing the things that we're doing. We want to limit the negative impact that this all has on your children, and so we want to thank you for working with us and giving us a little bit of space to make sure that we're providing all that we can provide for your students. So I'm going to start with what we did last week. And so I have a lot of papers around me. I have a lot of things written on the board just behind the camera. So if my eyes are bouncing around, I'm apologizing in advance, but I want to make sure you get the right information. And I'm unable to memorize these things anymore as I get older. And so let's talk a little bit about last week and what we've done. Food distribution numbers. So Friday alone, we distributed over 3,400 meals. Amherst Cares, who is a nonprofit organization that works in Amherst County, they work with us every weekend. So every Friday we distribute bags to food insecure students to take home over the weekend. We distributed 400 bags from them on Friday. So Friday alone, it was about 3,800 bags of food that went out to our community. As far as our at-home learning packet distribution numbers, I'm going to look down to make sure I got the right numbers. We distributed over 1,650 Chromebooks, 789 learning packets, and those learning packets were the ones that went to kindergartners, pre-K, kindergarten, first and second grade. And then for those that had internet at home but had the Chromebooks or a computer at home but needed, they don't have internet, so they needed the flash drives, we gave out about 100 of those. So all told, we gave out over 2,500 items for at-home learning. And so that was a very impressive list of things that were accomplished last week. And so there are a lot of people that did some things that I want to first thank, and I'm going to kind of read those names out because I want to make sure. Well, first I want to thank parents. I want to thank parents for being patient, understanding what we're trying to do as a school system, and understand that we're trying to help you, give you the resources to do the things that you need to do while you're at home. I want to thank the bus drivers, our school nutrition folks, our maintenance people. They were out getting the food ready, distributing it, getting it out to the different locations, and making sure that our buildings were sanitized and clean, so when people do have to come in, that they're coming into clean buildings. I want to thank our teachers and our staff who came out this week to help with the distribution. I know your children were happy to see some of them because I was at those locations, and you could really tell that it mattered to them that they were with they were able to see their teachers. Also want to thank our teachers. They put the learning packets together for last week. They're going to continue to do that work to get that learning out to those learning opportunities out to your student. I really want to thank the Chamber of Commerce. We ran into some things last week. For example, with our flash drives, we ran into some distribution problems. We actually ordered flash drives the week prior to this all starting, and we're still waiting on them. We believe they're held up in customs somewhere. So I want to thank, and I'm going to read these, Banker Steel, ITG, Specialty Exterminating, BWX, Walmart, Food Lion, the Glad Corporation, Sweetbriar College, Liberty University, Drummond Electric, Hurt and Profit, the Clifford Ruritan Club, and England or Wood Stoves for donating flash drives, bags to put all of that equipment in. So we're so thankful that you guys have reached out and provided for our students. Also want to thank some churches who are currently serving as sites for food distribution: Madison Heights Baptist Church, Scott Zion Baptist Church, and the Amherst Church of God. Also Tanglewood Mobile Home Park, who's allowing us to come in and distribute meals there as well. I'd like to thank media organizations, the New Era Progress here in Amherst, News in Advance, WSET, WDBJ, WSLS, and Fox News have all been very forthcoming in allowing us to get our information, our story out, and we appreciate those folks. And finally, I'd like to thank Amherst Cares. I just mentioned that they distribute weekend bags of food, and so they're a nonprofit and they take donations, and currently they have about enough food to get us through 2 more weekends, but after that we're going to need some help for them. So I have written down, or I have written here, so I'm going to make sure that I get the appropriate information out to you, but it's also going to be on this video. Mr. Cargill is going to do some editing and put it next to my face, so I'm going to get this information. So Amherst Cares, the email address is amherstcares315@gmail.com. The mailing address is P.O. Box 451, Amherst, Virginia 24521, or you can call Beth Gamble. Her number is 946-7657. And what they need, most specifically, they need Chef Boyardee products like lasagna, spaghetti and meatballs, ravioli. They need ramen types of noodles. They need small containers of applesauce or fruit. So if you have the ability to get these items, please let Ms. Gamble know, contact her, reach out to her. That food is very much needed. And so if you could do those, we'd be most grateful. But I want to thank this community. This community has once again stepped up to help, specifically for us, the children in Amherst County. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about what's coming in the next few weeks and beyond. Today at 11 o'clock, the governor held his daily press conference, and in that press conference he started using terms like months instead of weeks, so things are going to start to get extended as far as his proclamations and his declarations are concerned. He said he is going to make a decision, we believe tomorrow, regarding school closures. And so if that, I'm anticipating either tomorrow or Tuesday that he's going to make an announcement about that. You know, not having any inside information, just reading the tea leaves, I believe that we certainly will go beyond March the 27th as far as school closure. So here's what we're going to continue to do in order to meet the needs of our students. So food distribution will continue as long as school is out. But I believe last week we had a lot of different locations, we had a lot of different times going, we were trying to figure out what was best. And so what we've landed on to provide some consistency in our food distribution is to every day have the same time frame. So we're going to change our time frame from 10 a.m. to 12 noon every day. Each of our locations, it will be 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and you can pick up both breakfast and lunch at those time frames. And so we will continue to use the sites that we used last week, which were Amherst County High School, Central Elementary, Elon Elementary, Manellison Middle, and Temperance Elementary. Those are our 5 school sites that we'll use. We'll continue to use Amherst Church of God, Scott Zion Baptist Church, and Madison Heights Baptist Church, and we'll continue to use Tanglewood Mobile Home Park. We've added 2 new locations, the Coolwell Recreation Center on North Coolwell Road and New Prospect Baptist Church on Buffalo Springs Turnpike in Pleasant View. At all of our locations, if you look for the yellow bus, you'll find them there. But at New Prospect Baptist Church, we're going to have a white van, a county van there. So those are the new locations, the new time. Once again, come out. If you are having difficulty with getting to those sites, please let somebody know. We're going to put up on the screen those contact people, but our Supervisor of Wellness, Marie Patrone, and our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. William Wells, we're going to give you their contact information. So if you're having difficulty getting to those sites, we'll work with you to try to bring that information out to you. So that's the food distribution plan, the at-home learning plan. So let's talk a little bit about that. You should have information either through flash drive or learning packet or on our website that should get you through most of this week. So we've developed information for last week and through this week. Now, as a parent, if your child has already gone on and blown through all of that information, that's fine. We're just not going to be able to get you information for the next couple weeks until further into the week. So here's the schedule for this week. For our website, Thursday, March the 26th, we will have information on our school websites that will have that information for those that have internet. For those that don't have internet and need the flash drive, we're going to have a pickup of new information on a new flash drive. So, and that will happen Friday, March the 27th. And the time to pick up will be 10 to 12. So we will follow our food distribution times for the pickup of flash drive. It will be a lot less you'll have to do. You'll just bring your flash drive back. We ask that you do bring that flash drive back because we'll wipe it and put more information on it for future. But in order to get another flash drive, we want you to bring the one you got last week back on Friday, March the 27th from 10 to 12 to your child's school. The goal here is that we want to continue forward with our learning opportunities. We want to try to get you enough where you can get to what our original spring break date was, which is April the 13th. And so we feel like that's going to give us enough time to start to plan for what happens beyond if the governor does say we're moving beyond that. And so we're just waiting for his announcement Monday and Tuesday, but we're going to prepare through April the 13th. So now let's talk a little bit about some clarifications. I know there have been a lot of emails, a lot of responses to our posts, a lot of questions, and I want to make sure that you understand as well as I can explain it to you what is going on in terms of, for example, the biggest one on Friday, President Trump and the United States Department of Education put out some information regarding standardized testing and waiving the requirements for standardized testing. So from the federal level, that means that their federal law around testing and accreditation have been waived. But please remember that the SOLs are also a state function, and that's developed through state legislation. And so what the state superintendent is doing, because they have received this information for the United States Department of Education, he has to go through certain channels with our state legislators to ask for waivers of the standards of learning tests. So you might have heard that all SOLs are canceled. I'm here to tell you that that's very likely, and in most, we really believe that that's going to happen, but the waiver has not been applied for, and the state legislator has not actually voted on that. But we expect 99.9% that that's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet, so we can't work under that assumption yet, but we do believe it's going to happen. Some other clarifications surround grades, graduation, CT credentialing, those kinds of things. Until we know specifically how long our students are going to be out, we're not going to be able to give you an answer tonight. But I can tell you that we are working on scenarios and options on how these things are going to be dealt with, and understand that they're not going to be made alone. Amherst County Public Schools are not going to make these decisions alone in isolation. We're going to get guidance from the State Department of Education. We're going to work in conjunction with our local, our area school systems around us, so there's a lot of consistency to these decisions. So we ask that you be patient with this. Students are not going to be negatively impacted in terms of being able to graduate or getting grades that allow them to move to the next year. But you have to be patient with us on this. We've also received a lot of questions about special education services. This is another thing we're going to ask that you be patient. We have asked our case managers who work with specific students to contact them, whether they've already contacted them last week or this coming week. They will be in contact with you personally, and what we're going to tell you is that we're going to be working through the IEP process towards the end of this closure to start to talk about what impact did this closure have on the progress for those individual students and what measures need to be taken to address that impact. So that is coming, and we're going to be working on that. Those were the three largest areas we felt like we needed to address tonight. We also want to talk a little bit about communication. So as I told you before, we will continue to get out there the messages and the correct information to try to make sure that there's not misinformation passed around, that if you hear it from me, you know that it's the most factual information that we have as a school division. If you're hearing it from other places, please refrain from passing it along until you hear it from me, or you see it on our website, or you see it on our social media accounts, or you hear it through an instant messenger. So we appreciate you waiting for information from us and not passing around things that might not be true. That being said, Friday night we did have in Amherst County our first positive case of coronavirus for a member of our community, and I imagine that created a lot of stressful people. I had the same feeling. My questions immediately went to, does this person have children in our schools? Is this person had contact with people that work in our schools? And so what I quickly remembered through all of this is that I am in personal contact with the epidemiologist at the Virginia Department of Health in this region. And our agreement was that if there was ever anybody directly connected to the school system, so our students and our staff, if there was anybody connected to that, I would be made aware of that. And so I was not made aware of that Friday night, which means that that person did not have a direct contact with our staff or our students. If it does happen, and it is inevitable probably that somebody might test positive that has contact, if that does happen, I will be contacted, and the people that are impacted by that will be contacted by the Virginia Department of Health or myself to start to let you know privately who's come in contact with the positive case. There will not be public pronouncements, so I think that's dangerous, and that really goes against these folks' privacy rights. And so we want to make sure that we're very careful in passing around names and those kinds of things. So I just want to make sure you understand from a school perspective how we're going to handle this, from the Virginia Department of Health, how they're going to handle it. And so I just wanted to get that information out there. That's going to do it for our video tonight. We want to wish everybody safety at home. Stay safe. Make sure your child stays at home as much as possible, not out and about. Practice good hygiene. All of that information remains on our website, so if you're looking at ways to combat this, please do so. But in the end, I want to say once again, our school system, we say every child every day, and that's what we mean. And while it might not look like you're sitting in our classroom and we're providing you with instruction every day, we are thinking about you every day, and we're doing the things necessary to keep you going, whether it's with food or providing you with educational opportunities. And know that we care about you. Know that we care about your children, and we will continue as we can to provide for this community. And I really get a sense that Amherst County Schools has really become the heartbeat of this community, and want to thank everybody that's been out there that's doing the work, the good work. And so at this point we will finish this video for tonight. We think that as we move forward there will be probably not a daily video that goes out, because at some point there will just not be enough information to come to you daily. But as we get information and it's needed to be passed along, we will do so. Other than that, we hope that everybody has a good night, and we will probably see many of you next week when we distribute either food or some of these at-home learning opportunities. Good night.